As we gear up for the launch of the brand new DC with Superman leading the charge, it's only a matter of time before James Gunn reveals his cast for Brave and the Bold. But before he reveals his cast, I wanted to take a stab at it and see who I could cast as some of the characters in Brave and the Bold. Will my choices be better than James Gunn? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a good day. So Batman is my favorite character, right? Batman and Silver Surfer are my two favorite comic book characters, and we've seen a slew of Batman actors and films in the past. We're not gonna even touch on Silver Surfer because we've only seen him once. But like I said in the opening, DC, they're rolling out their brand new universe, right? It started with Creature Commandos, which is a great animated show. If you haven't seen it, go to HBO, check it out, it's really fun. But when it comes to the live action realm, everything starts with Superman. If everything hinges on Superman, if that's a success, then we can kind of see what's gonna trickle down and how the DC is gonna roll out. But Brave and the Bold is a Batman film that is on the list, it's happening. And we don't know who's gonna play who. Now, there's been some fan casting, there's been some rumors, there's been this, there's been that. All fingers pointing in different directions. Now, the funny thing about this is, a while ago, I did a episode on recasting the Bat family. And if you haven't seen that episode, check it out. The link's up here at the top. It's pretty fun. I like it. But I did that video a long time ago, and now this is 2025, right? There's been some new actors in the mix, and so I wanted to kind of, specifically Batman, recast this before James Gunn, just to see if who I want, somehow I can manifest it to happen, and James Gunn's like, hey, I saw that young man's video, I'm gonna cast that actor. But let's get started with the casting, shall we? Now we're gonna do Batman last because, let's face it, save the best for last. So we're gonna start actually with Robin. But there's a lot of young actors that I think could really play this role, and I wanted someone who was quirky enough that could kind of pull this off, but at the same time, you see the actor, you're like, why would you cast him? And then you see him in the suit, and you see what he could do as an actor with his acting ability, and you're like, okay, I see it now. So the actor that I have chosen, the film that he's known for is The Umbrella Academy. And I'm talking about Aidan Gallagher. So here's why I think he would play a good Robin. So much like Robin, he's highly intelligent. He's often sarcastic at times. And Aidan already showcased that he could do action sequences based on The Umbrella Academy with some of the fighting that he had to do in that show. And he has even stated in behind the scenes of The Umbrella Academy that he had intense martial arts training leading up for that show. So in turn, he could take those skills and apply them to a character that's more molded for that specific kind of fighting style. He also has a really good ability to balance humor and intensity when it comes to his performances. Let's face it, Robin is a very complex character with, his horrible backstory and his whole life of how he led up to being with Bruce. And the way that James Gunn writes his characters, I think Aidan's balance between those two emotions would really help to flush out his writing and how he approaches characters within his films, like Guardians of the Galaxy, for example. He also can showcase really good vulnerability when it comes to his characters. So, I mean, that feeling definitely comes across with the relationship between Robin and Batman. Because Batman kind of understands where he came from, and Aidan can really flush that out with all those different emotions that he could juggle. Now let's talk about age range, okay? At 20 years old, Aidan is perfect for this character because of how, not because he's 20, but he looks younger than he actually is. Robin is usually depicted as a teen, and all you would have to do is cut Aidan's hair and kind of give him, specific clothing to fit that age range. He can make it work easily. And this last part is really important. Not only is he passionate about his craft and what he does, but he's a fan of DC and the superhero genre as a whole. And we know that The Umbrella Academy is a graphic novel. And so, being someone who's a fan of that genre, if you get a chance to be in a story that's involving anything graphic novels, you're gonna attach yourself to it. So why not something or someone as important as Robin? I mean, for him as a human, as an actor, he would jump on that in a heartbeat. I mean, I know I would. To sum it up, Aidan's age is perfect. He can physically play younger or older. He has the martial arts training. He's used to that. And he has experience within a large production. So I think Aidan would really play an interesting, a little bit more grounded Robin that we've seen in the past. Okay, now let's move on to Dick Grayson. That's right, Nightwing. So for Nightwing, honestly, this was a little bit easier for me just because I love this actor and I originally wanted him as a Human Torch, but we got Joseph Quinn, which is perfectly fine with me. But the actor that I selected, he is best known for Stranger Things. We're talking about Darcy Montgomery. Now here's the reason why I selected Montgomery. His strong physical appearance makes him intimidating. Now remember in Stranger Things, his rough kind of exterior, his presence that he had within his sister in the show and with all the other characters in that season, he was just this hard as nails. You couldn't get through this character. You just didn't know how to read him. And when it comes to the fight scenes, he can pull that off. He can play intimidated. I mean, I know this is not really an intimidating role, but he was in Power Rangers as well. He was the Red Ranger, so he's really used to doing those action sequences and being rough and tough when the occasion calls for it. And one thing with Nightwing that is really important is how emotional this character is, and I think his emotional range within the characters that he's played in the past fits perfect within with Nightwing and who he is. Think about how he played Billy, right? He started off with this just anger, and throughout his character arc in the show, he showed this vulnerability. And that's a perfect example and a perfect little chunk of what he's capable of. And you're gonna get some really, really good deep context within that character based on those emotions because he knows how to play those emotions. I mean, Dick Grayson is, wrestling with his past. And so going back and forth between all these emotions, he's got it, guys. He's got it. Dick Grayson is known for his charm, charisma, and his leadership. Now, he's not as brooding as Bruce Wayne, but his personality is still there, and it's still, it's still very impactful. So in conclusion with him, guys, he knows how to bring depth to a character. He knows how to bring intimidation. His palpable personality, his charismatic personality lends perfect to how Dick Grayson is. Plus, I think he will look really, really good in the suit. So, guys, this is my Nightwing. Okay, so now let's move on to the last character in this fan casting list, and that is Batman. Okay, so with Batman, right? This was hard for me because I honestly have two actors that I think could play this role, and either or, I don't care, they're both perfect for it. One is known for a really supernatural TV show, while the other is known for playing a very large powerhouse in that of Reacher. We're talking about Jensen Ackles and Alan Richardson. Okay, let's start with Jensen. So the biggest thing with Jensen, right? You could physically, let's go with physicality. You could see him in the Batsuit, and you can also see him as Bruce Wayne, the playboy philanthropist kind of character. With his run on Supernatural, he's had a gamut of emotions that he had to play within that show, right? He's played rough, he's played tough, he's done comedy, he's done musical. He's had a gamut of all these things, and Bruce Wayne's backstory is so traumatic, is so traumatizing that he has all these emotions running through him. He has that in his back pocket. And one big thing about Jensen, he's already played Batman in an animated series. So he already understands the character through and through. Jensen is also a diehard Batman fan. So if you are someone who really wants to play a character, and besides being like, oh, that's a job, it's like, oh, no, this is something I'm really into, it makes for a more dynamic performance because it's more than just a job. Like I said, it's something that's a passion. And also, this is the smallest thing, but I think it helps. Jensen's voice. Do you know what I mean? Like, picture his voice coming out of the Batsuit. It's just great. But Jensen, you are one of two characters that I think could and should play Batman. Okay, now let's move on to Alan Richardson. Okay, let's be honest with this casting choice, okay? Physicality, 100%. It'd be the only Batman that we would see to be more physically opposing in that Batsuit. What I mean by that is Alan is built like Bane. So can you imagine someone who is that big in that Batsuit coming after you from the shadows? I mean, that's terrifying. Also, they did an interview with him and they asked him about Batman, and he said, I would play Batman for free. So yet again, you have two actors who want to do this role because they're really into it. They want to do it for the passion of it. That's great. Alan also has proven that he could play Batman based on just everything in Reacher. That character, yet again, it's rough, he's tough, he's vulnerable at times, but it's like throwing a Batsuit on Reacher and we pretty much got him. In Alan's filmography, he's done a lot of really interesting things, right? I mean, Fat Castle, we know, it's comedy, it's over the top. But but he has comedy in there. And let's not forget, he was also in Teen Titans. So he's used to that world. Like Jensen, he's used to the DC universe and he understands the complexity of how it all fits. And I don't know why I was talking like I'm holding a basketball. But guys, physicality and passion and just the drive to be the world's greatest detective, I think Alan Richardson would be the most physically opposing Batman we've ever seen on screen. And so with that, Alan, you also are Batman. But that's it, guys. That's my list for Brave and the Bold. Now, there are a lot more characters involved in this story. I just wanted to do the main ones, you know, because they're the main characters. And in the comments below, I'm just curious, between Jensen and Alan, which out of the two would you prefer to see suit up in the Batsuit? But that's it, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you on the next one.